is such a thing as a typical day. I usually get up, maybe even at 4:30 sometimes during a weekday, by 5 for sure. And then I make breakfast and I say my morning prayers, then I read the newspaper, and by that time I'm usually getting ready for Mass. Getting all the parts on the altar, since we don't have servers right now, to have the altar set up, and then I come back over to the parish and maybe read an email or two or whatever I could do, and then have Mass in the morning, which is at 8 o'clock all the time. And then after that, it can change every day. Get an email from Bob, they'll look at something, there's a bid on something.
What's broke down?
The truck's broke down.
Is that why it's in the parking lot?
Yeah.
Right now I'm into omelets for breakfast, and I have make my own salads a lot of times for dinner, but main courses, Mary Paula usually does that, but I have kind of like a smorgasbord. I have those 3 meals and I kind of divide them up in what I do, and I throw pancakes. Sometimes there's kind of a weird dinner. I will have a sweet potato and cream of wheat sometimes for dinner, which is kind of goofy, but you might be in the mood for something like that, and so I just do my own thing. But Monday, I try to make Monday my day off, because really I think the week's work is kind of done. Homilies have been prepared and all done for Sunday, so Monday is more of a relaxed day. And if bad weather, I'll stay here at the rectory and do reading or catching up. But if it's a real nice day, I go back to Arnold, my family farm in Arnold. And right now, this fall time of the year is a good time to be cleaning out brush and limbs from trees and things like that. And in the summer, of course, there's grass to cut and things like that. Keep very busy. Really can't have much of a garden, because anybody that lives out in those areas now, the deer are so populous that everything I have is a fence around it. So the deer keep me in tune about keeping the fences up to keep the deer away. But there's always something to do on my day off. So it's usually on the farm. I never feel like I'm alone, because it's a big house, but there's always something going on in the house. So, of course, I go to the farm in Arnold, I'm by myself, but like a Sunday afternoon, I will be here. It's really nice, have this big house, have quiet. It's really quiet. There's really no phones, no doorbells or anything like that. So I really don't get lonely. There's always people around. People would think it's work, but I like to work with plants in the garden in the winter. Anybody that comes in the house, they'll see all windowsills. My mother would always say, a windowsill doesn't have a plant on it. So, and plants do take a lot of time, and I enjoy that. And in the summer, the cutting the grass and raking the leaves and things. People really use as work. I really like that. That's why going along with landscaping and the things that I did before, I enjoy that too. Because growing up on a farm, I really was centering more on a brother, because I thought, well, I could be a brother and I could work in the field like I grew up on a farm. And I'd always get this back. They'd encourage priesthood. They always encourage priesthood rather than the brotherhood. I mean, I'm glad that I did the greenhouse and all that first, because I'm satisfied with that. I know I can do it, and I did it, but it's a lot of work, and it's not quite as satisfying, I guess you might say. The priesthood is much more satisfying, really. Even in college. I went to the University of Missouri in Columbia, but I was home and being involved with the parish, I was always somehow connected. Very early in grade school, I helped with the nativity scene at church, and going from that, getting more involved in the parish, being on parish council and so forth, and then becoming a Eucharistic minister at St. Anthony's Hospital. I was one of the first Eucharistic ministers that came into taking communion at the hospital. Generally kind of worked my way in, having a nursery at the same time, but not feeling as satisfied with the nursery as I was doing that hospital work and so forth. So that's kind of what led me into the seminary. And to this day, it's funny, I don't remember signing up for the seminary. I was there. How that all happened, it was being led by the Spirit, I guess. If anybody's thinking about the priesthood, I would think that would be a good thing to, if you really have kind of wondering what you might do, if you want to, be the lawyer or something, take that into consideration. Try it for a little while. Is it really what you want? Because I would say that was great. One thing I did great, I think, making that decision. I got that out of the way. For a person that doesn't go to my places, I've been to quite a few places in this country, because from the seminary time up until maybe till this virus, every summer I would take a trip, Grand Canyon, Smoky Mountains, Washington, D.C., a lot of places that I've been to on vacations during the summer. So I've been to Amana colonies up in Iowa, all kinds of places I've been. And one time to Rome, just a couple of years ago, which was enjoyable, but it almost not turned me off, but there's just so many people when you travel, and I'm not a person that just likes to be in just hundreds of thousands of people everywhere when you go to tourist places. I like to go places that are out of the way. Doctors always tell me good exercise is to walk. I walk from here to the park and go all the way around the park and then kind of zigzag through streets sometimes and come back. So I try to do it at least 4 times a week. Sometimes it's almost 5, 6 times. When it's real cold, I walk in church. I do my at least a mile in church. I walk around in church. I would love to spend more time at school. Of course, when you're by yourself, a pastor, that limits itself. The closest, I guess, as far as interviewing students or talking to them is getting ready for confirmation, which we're doing this year, which I really enjoy. I get to know the students a little more. I speak with them at least twice in preparation for confirmation. The hardest thing is going from one situation or emotion to another. You may have an emotion that requires being very serious and down to earth, as I say, getting ready for a funeral. That's a whole different situation than maybe getting ready for some kind of a talk or something at school. We want to be more uplifting and dealing with a whole different situation that can come very quick. You go from a funeral situation into another situation, and every sacrament is emotional. The emotion at a wedding is very different than emotion at a funeral or First Communion. And then in the interaction with the people at those different events, trying to engage with people that are at a different place that you might have been just 5 minutes before. Same thing with phone calls. You'll get a phone call, a very upbeat person, and then all of a sudden you get a phone call with the person's mother or father has just died, and you have to change your tone of voice or whatever to that emotion. I think that's the hardest thing, just a changing, go from one thing to another that can happen very quick. Wonderful parish, feel very comfortable. You have so many people that just do so many things and make it a real pleasure to be a pastor. And having Mary Regan as a pastoral associate, which is someone I didn't have at St. Rose of Lima. So Mary Regan has been a wonderful help, almost like that assistant that a pastor would have, doing so many of those things that need to be done, but there's just not time to do them. And then with the pandemic, with Stephanie doing the videos and all the keeping the parish kind of connected has been wonderful. June Tesson, because she has come in with the new eyes and the new spirit of using things that make things work smoother. especially with the fax programs and how the school, people would be amazed at how the school works now, keeping track of all the things that go on in the parish and the school that are just at the fingertips. So she has been a great asset also. Great people doing many things, all the things that happen, the gala, the fish fries and all that. It's just wonderful that people can put that all together and make this place work. It's fantastic, really.